Namaste yogis, welcome to Yoga Life. My name's Tania. I'm here to bring you a short guided yin yoga practice for winter that is all about inducing rest and hopefully helping you to sleep more peacefully. So with that said, to start your practice, you're going to need a few props, a bolster or a long cushion, a couple of yoga blocks. I'm going to involve a strap this afternoon for your practice or this evening whenever you're taking the time out, and a blanket as well. If you'd like to listen to music, the playlist is called Tranquil Winter Yin. So we're going to start reversing some of the winter contraction, a pose that helps us to feel as though we're floating a little above the earth. To set up this pose, which I like to call the starfish, you're going to take your bolster long ways, your blanket under the head, and your two blocks to support under your feet or calves. So you'll come to position yourself onto your bolster and just allow the sitting bones to touch. You can take your feet on top of the blocks to start, or you might even want to stretch your legs out, and then you'll go ahead and lie back, letting your head drape over the edge. Sometimes it feels nice just to have the head dangle in this position. Other times you might want to pull something under the back of head for some extra support. You can let your arms rest beside your body and just allow your whole spine to be supported, although your limbs are floating, and you're getting a gentle spreading of the tissues across the front of your chest. A slight stretch to the upper back, the upper spine, and a little bit of a neck release as well. So we'll take this pose for about 4 minutes to commence your practice, your journey into rest. I'm going to sit up so the microphone isn't so crackly, but as you begin to descend into and onto your props, just take a moment to close or half close your eyes. I always like to invite you at the start of any practice to check in, to notice what is happening specifically in the physical spaces of your body. So just begin to pay attention to notice how you're feeling physically, your muscles, your bones, noticing the temperature of your skin. If you're working with any injuries, you might want to pay attention to those parts of the body. Notice if there are any aches and pains, any parts of you that feel dark or constricted. And then conversely, notice also the parts of you that feel more open, light, and spacious. In winter, we get very contracted. We curl in, we hibernate. So I like this pose as it is almost a really nice place to start to reverse some of that winter contraction, some of that drawing in. Spreading your limbs out, taking up space, opening through the front body to encourage the light to beam in. So the yin yoga practice is a practice of sensation. You do want to feel, but it is also an opportunity to allow for the down regulation of your nervous system. So allow a little bit of time for you to switch off from the world. Often we start our practice very much in our head. So the dropping back of your head in this pose might enable you just to tip out a little the top of your head. Any thoughts on repeat, any negative thinking, any overthinking. Just beginning to settle your mind, your heart, as well as your body. And once your physical body feels relaxed, just begin to notice and focus on how you're feeling emotionally today, this evening. Just notice where your head is at, where your heart is at. Get a bit of a felt sense of what's going on for you in that space. And if there are any dominant emotions present, you can give them a name. Today I'm feeling quiet, introverted, sad, excited, joyful. Whatever it is that is with you today. Always helpful to know what is here so that you can adjust your practice to suit. So we're going to take about 5 more breaths in this, your opening pose, your starfish pose. Once you've checked in physically and emotionally, just check in to notice how your breath is moving, traveling through your body. Whether you're breathing through your nose or through your mouth. And seeing if you can pay attention to your breath through your yin practice without needing to control it in any way. Noticing if it's coming in through your nose, if it's moving out through your mouth. Noticing if your breath is deep, choppy. Just really paying attention. When we focus on the breath, we can also assist our nervous system to calm. It can be a soothing practice, a self-soothing practice. So in the starfish pose, if your arms are up overhead, you want to bring them back down beside your body. You might bend up the knees to come out. Sometimes to come out of this pose, it can be helpful just to stop for a moment, place the feet onto the blocks. I like to roll off of the props, so just coming over onto my side. And then from here, moving the bolster out of the way. You can keep the blanket under your head. You can keep the blocks where they are. We just want to practice minimal disturbance, minimal disruption as we create this space for our bodies to really rest, to recover. So stretch out, spread out, take up space in a rebound. We just lie for a minute in between the poses so that your body has the chance to absorb, to soak up, to take it all in. Your rebound pose is a place of integration, of rest, and it offers this beautiful opportunity just to stop, to slow down, and to do less. Day to day, we are busy, caught up in the daily doings, the comings and the goings, the back and the forth. Yoga practice can be a sanctuary, a retreat, a break from all of that out there. Get about 3 more breaths in your rebound. And then you can start to reawaken gradually, a wiggle of your fingers and your toes, maybe a stretch of your arms up overhead, a bending of knees, a hugging into chest. You can roll around your lower back a couple of times, just massaging out the physical space there, the home of fear and contraction. We want to make sure our lower backs stay warm and covered through the colder months. I'm going to invite you to roll over onto your favorite side, and gently, gradually, you can make your way up toward a seat. As you come up towards seated, we're going to set up for a supported caterpillar pose. So in this pose, the focus is going to be more on your upper spine rather than the hamstrings. You can take your bolster crossways. You're going to bring your legs over top of the bolster, just hugging it or catching it under the back of your knees. And you can take your blanket, and sometimes it can be really helpful just to lift a little off the earth. So you might want to sit onto your folded blanket so the pelvis is tilted. Taking your feet as wide apart as you like and just gently starting to fold forward. So although you may still feel sensation along the back of your legs, primarily the rounded spine, the softening of the belly through the gap, through the space of the legs, and the softening of your head down will pull and cause more stress along the cervical spine, the upper thoracic spine. If your head feels too heavy, you can support it by bringing your chin into your palms or placing a yoga block under the forehead as you fold into your caterpillar pose. This pose, almost the opposite of the first shape, this is representing the contraction, the rounding, the softness of winter. So we'll be here for about 3 more minutes. Just a chance to allow your body to soften, the gaze to turn inward. You might want to close your eyes and just allow the weight of gravity to pull you down toward the earth. Try to relax your muscles, disengage around your lower back, your sitting bones. Unclench, unclamp through the abdomen space. Often we're gripping here without even knowing. Can you relax around the front of your chest? And your head is heavy, dangling off your shoulders like a bowling ball, pulling you down deeper into your pose. Once you arrive, once you find a sweet spot that you can stay for time, maybe sensation around a 7 or even an 8 out of 10 in this pose. See if you can close the eyes, really start to gaze in toward your own heart. Yin Yoga practice can provide an opportunity for meditation, an opportunity for self-study. We don't need to take an hour out of our day to recover. Little bursts, a few poses. Yin, always this beautiful teacher that less is more. So you have about 1.5 minutes left in your pose. See if you can create a soft space for your body to dwell. Some quiet time for your mind to rest, your muscles to rest. Letting all of the tension leave your body and your mind. That's just your last few breaths here. When we calm down, when we drop out of fight and flight into more of a parasympathetic state, it allows us to sleep with more ease. It allows us to digest with more ease. We're going to exit the pose slowly. If you have something under your sitting bones, just removing that out, keeping your legs on the bolster as they are. You're going to lie yourself back down onto the earth and come into a position of rest for your rebound. As your spine touches back down to the mat, just take a few deeper breaths, almost a sense of release, a feeling of relief. Again, the rebound posture, a really important part of the yin practice, this beautiful reminder to slow down. Nothing is more urgent than this moment now. Nothing takes greater priority than your health now. Take about 5 more breaths in your rebound. Good. And then finally, we're going to set up the third pose of our yin for rest. And it's going to be your final pose in the sequence. You will require a few blocks and props, but I promise it will be worth it. And we're going to take a supported yin inversion to finish. So if you have 2 yoga blocks, you're going to want to place them on an angle, one on the higher edge, one on the medium edge, and then you'll turn your bolster around so it's sitting on the diagonal. We're going to take our legs up the bolster, but before we do, it might be helpful just to wrap them into a yoga belt for containment. So I tied my yoga belt into a loop, and I'm going to place the belt over and around my thighs. And it doesn't need to be the tightest hold ever. Snuggling sitting bones up to the edge of the bolster, you can take your legs up and lie your bones back. As it's normal in yin for the body temperature to drop, it could be helpful for you to place a blanket over your body. If your room is bright, you might want to place something over your eyes, just making sure that you're warm. And then with the legs inverted, and the belt around your thighs, you can just let the feet splay naturally, knowing that the belt is acting as a container to hold your legs up. You don't need to strain, you don't need to effort, you do not need to force. We're going to drift quietly and consciously into your final pose, using the inversion to drop you even deeper into your parasympathetic response, your rest and digest state. And once you feel settled, once you have snuggled down, softening the eyes, spreading out through your upper body, allowing your spine to be supported, your head to be supported, and allowing the energy to flush and flow. Moving the water through the energy pathway channels of the bladder, kidneys, hydrating us from the inside. Inversions assist us to sleep peacefully. Getting upside down can help us to shift or move toxins through the body. They can be a helpful space in which to help change our emotional state. So if we're feeling heightened, inversions can calm. If we're feeling flat, down, sad, or depressed, as sometimes we do as the weather is cold and gloomy, we can use the inversion to help us to release that. to lift our spirits. So lying back, allowing your whole body to be supported. Your final 2 minutes of your Yin for rest practice. Take about 5 more breaths, just as you are. And then you're welcome to stay lying a lot longer. You're welcome to drift off into your own meditation practice, undoing some of the conditioning that we always need to be busy, achieving, striving, and understanding that when we rest, we are able to take stock, to come back into ourselves, back into our bodies, to better serve, to be of service to ourselves and to each other. If you're starting to move, you can move, wiggling fingers and toes. Firstly, you might want to bend up the knees, remove the belt, roll over to your favorite side. And just very gradually, you can return to a seated pose. Bring your hands together in front of your hearts, Anjali Mudra. We bow in together, honoring this time spent in rest, recovery, honoring ourselves for showing up to do the work, to take time for our health and our wellness. Thank you so much for joining me in this winter Yin for rest practice. Namaste.